How do we start? Okay. Let me stick my face in the camera and then you show some footage of the cars. My name is Alex, both engine CC 6 liters. I will tell you what I don't like after Phaeton. Both of these cars are built on the same platform. Owning both cars, I can tell you that, yeah, that's quite a mystery. Try to have a look for this thing somewhere in the trunk if you have no idea what it is, cause it took me some time. What's that for? Phaeton climate control system thought through way better than flying Spur. Take off the cap, change the filter, that's it. Let's try Phaeton now. You're about to feel the difference. If you're not ready that everybody would look your way at the traffic light, and I'm not joking, this car won't make it possible. Nobody look at you when you're inside, except for those who realize what the car is in front of them. Here, every fifth for sure. These carpets would fit in Phaeton like a perfect match. All of that was in Phaeton 2002, all the functions and everything worked just fine, why wouldn't they use it here? Here is totally the same as in Phaeton. There are 3 exhaust silencers per 6 cylinders, that's why it sounds so quiet. The structure is very similar, but in my Phaeton, and yours one too, seats are even softer. Do you remember once you told me about that Phaeton which they rebuilt to full electric power? We came up with the idea for the video during one of the conversations at Phaeton Club meeting in Moscow. There is second Phaeton you can find in this video and it belongs to the owner of this channel. Also, he is the one who is filming and editing everything for the Phaeton Club channel. Separately, he is working on another video which is going to be only about Phaeton. The amount of valuable information included in his video makes it more like a documentary, in my personal opinion, showing the complexity and the versatility of the car. And now we would like to show you some similarities that Phaeton and Flying Spur have, also some differences, some pros and cons of these cars, and some operational features. We want to make a point that we do not claim to be absolutely objective. Also, this video is not a review of any of these cars in particular, though there is a lot of information in the material that we captured, but we still decided to take the most interesting from the technical part without comparing cars in terms of configuration and equipment. Besides, this is the first part of our video, and the decision about making the next part depends on the amount of likes and comments. Now, let's get started. These cars share same platform. This car is some kind of a middle ground in terms of quality, comfort, dynamics and cost of ownership. It is modest, it does not stand out in the traffic, the thrill is inside. They do not see you from the outside, it's just a Volkswagen, no one's paying attention to it. The engine of this car is the sweet spot for its weight. This car is extra luxury. The emotions are same as Phaeton. plus certain emotions from the attention to the shape and unique appearance of the car. You better be ready that too much attention will be drawn to you, especially if you are traveling away from large cities and capitals. Please note that in some cases, various readings are possible when translated from the original. Some technical terms might have multiple meanings. And yet, in the description under the video, you will find the timestamps that will help you to navigate between the blocks of the video. This car has 6-liter engine with 450 horsepower. Though this one also has 6-liter engine, but with 2 turbines it gives you 560 horsepower. As for the transmission, they are quite old for today, but still decent. Here is 5-speed and here is 6-speed. I won't go into the details, but Flying Spur has a faster one than Phaeton. This car, when the air suspension is in comfort mode, you can turn at 80 km per hour. It has suspension struts. This affects the body stiffness, but it is not the same for Phaeton. The handling is good when turning, but not that good. This one's brakes are not very effective in my opinion, but nevertheless it is not bad. If you slow down this car from 200 km to 100 per hour, you can do it 3 or 4 times in a row. And here in the same situation, the brakes will act up after you do it twice. The braking path of Flying Spur is much shorter than Phaeton. Seems like it was worth putting a good brake system here, but they got the point with Flying Spur and did not with Phaeton. The air suspension is literally identical for both cars. Bentley can give more vivid emotions to passengers. You can go slowly and gently, as if in cruise control mode, I guess about 50 or 60 km per hour, listening to the music and enjoying. Nevertheless, when you shift the gear and pedal to the metal, you won't forget that quickly. It goes 0 to 100 in 5.1 seconds, 100 to 200 in 13 seconds. That is not a bad result even for modern cars. So when you move around, with Phaeton, you just go with comfort. Yes, quickly, quite dynamically, comfortably, but not more than that. These two cars are great for traveling by highway, as if they were made for driving on the highway. Even Phaeton, going at the speed of 200 km per hour, can easily outrun most of the cars. And now we're moving on to the interiors part and some additional details. Quick reminder that because we had too much information, we couldn't fit it only in this video. So be sure to put a like, subscribe and leave a comment if you want to get as much information as possible from the second video. That'll do for the introduction. Cut this one out, please. My vlogger style is increasing every second, doesn't it? These knobs seem to be the same, and this module is exactly the same as in Phaeton, but apart from that, it looks solid. The same buttons, but here just plastic buttons. Everything looks similar. Could have been done better, but they didn't. Pay attention to how it's done here. The armrests and these inserts. The heating here is located not on the door, but on the central console. These carpets will fit in Phaeton perfectly. By the way, once I put my old carpets from Bentley into Phaeton when it was too dirty in the street, and I had zero sympathy with those carpets, so I just used them. I traveled long distances, both on Phaeton and on this car, and these seats seem to be more comfortable in terms of ergonomics and fitting than the Phaeton ones. In Phaeton, after several hours on the way, I wanted to get a little stretch. Here, after driving for about 5 hours without getting out of the car, I didn't even want to get out, because the only reason for that was the refueling and eating. By the way, it is not widely known what these buttons do. They're located here. That is, for example, you set the climate to plus 28 degrees, but at the level of these deflectors, regarding of the settings mentioned before, the temperature can be changed to whatever you feel comfortable with. Wanna know a secret? Those are fake. So there is no such a function here. Then why would they make it red and blue if those are fake? They had it in Phaeton in 2003. Why wouldn't they make it here? Yeah, that's quite a mystery. The climate control system is almost the same. Maybe it's because of mechanical deflectors. Yeah, that is still a mystery, cause the climate control system is way better in Phaeton. So now, we're about to take a look on the differences and the similarities of both cars from underneath. So if you're interested into more detailed content, then don't forget to leave us a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe. Got it simple. The thickness of the anti-roll bar is 30. The stabilizer struts, see? You also notice they are much more massive than on Phaeton. The front suspension is 4-link in general, same as on Phaeton. The brake hose, the pad wear sensor, and the angular rate sensor, it's all identical. Doesn't come as a surprise that everything's the same. The calipers here are 4-piston, slightly bigger than on Phaeton. Identical starters. I was comparing the directory at the Scuderia car parts. Numbers are the same. As for rear suspension, there are no differences from Phaeton. The drivers, except for maybe a few millimeters, are the same. Therefore, these silent blocks here, and on the rear subframe, silent blocks, everything is identical. The gearbox is different, that's for sure. Cardan has the same number. The fuel filter is 100% different. Rear stabilizer, 23 millimeters. Locker, would be interesting to compare it by code, but I didn't compare them. But visually they are the same. The structure of exhaust system is similar, but there are less mufflers. From here to somewhere here, there are corrugations on Phaeton. Here is connecting, and here is a wasting. And here on Phaeton there's a large tin or can. Phaeton's middle part gets about here, detaches, here and there, and completely removes. And the hardware is disconnected separately from the entire exhaust system. And this part, the whole rear part, detaches separately. Unlike Phaeton, there is controlled valve here that opens the damper. Phaeton exhaust ends exactly at this point, but here it goes further. Flying Spur sounds way louder. Phaeton is very quiet. Three mufflers, And mind, this is the Volkswagen official terminology, stated in the documents. It's no resonators, no heat shields, it is directly written the mufflers. The mounts located at the same points, and they are identical. Phaeton has exactly the same suspension mufflers. There are only two of them, see, the tin attached, and another one exactly same installed here. These are the pillars for the gearbox. Phaeton has two of them, just like here, both different with different numbers. Here are two identical ones, and the numbers are the same. The gearbox is more advanced than on Phaeton, and honestly, that would be great to see the same gearbox on Phaeton. If there was 6-speed automatic, it would be more alive, if you will, and have different consumption. Bentley's numbers starts mostly with 3V0 and 4E0. I close this like this. If the numbers matches, then the box subframe is the same. There are a lot of radiators here. The radiator of the gearbox is placed here in the end part, and it is behind this grille. There are no holes for the intercooler on Phaeton. When the intercooler is blown out, the air comes out right here in these holes. Here, look at the stabilizer. See how thick it is. And the struts, pay attention here. The bushings, they change it to polyurethane substitutes suitable for all Phaetons, because the stabilizer diameter is the same. I didn't know that before, but the only way to get rid of the squeaky sounds was to put the new stabilizer. And this clamp, you can only get it with the stabilizer. You cannot buy it separately. The maintenance work on this car would mostly make you remove a lot of stuff here. Like, for example, you cannot remove the gearbox itself. It can only be removed with the motor. You cannot just take it out. Or some other parts can only be removed with the motor. Once I had to change the gearbox supports on this car, so I had to remove the entire exhaust system from here all to this. I was working on my car about a day and a half. I took off this whole system, I took off this, that, and I had to remove it all. I had to remove the bumper. Well, it was kind of possible to get crafty here without all the disassembling, but the thing is that there's the thing, and on the other side too. There's the holder, the silent block. On that side, they're the same one. They're fastened with two screws, and it is really hard to reach. So I had to remove the rear bumper, and for that, I have to remove the tail lights. So yeah, I guess you understand that this took me about a whole day working. I changed the motor supports, but I took it to the dealer because I neither have the equipment nor tools. And the space was that limited, and I unscrewed all the screws because there was no other way to reach it. And I pulled it out. I was probably doing the whole thing for about an hour, and it took me the same amount of time to put all new supports back. There is a radiator on the rear gear unit. By the way, look, I put new screw nuts here, original ones, and they turned into this in a year. All of this was all new. Look, here. There are two front mufflers, the middle one and the rear one. Those all are mufflers. That means that for every 6 cylinders there are 3 mufflers here. It has a very quiet sound. This pipe, I recently changed it for a reason. So, there is a loose strap. It broke. The tube slipped off, and with this part it leaned against the pulley. The pulley wiped the hole, and the antifreeze started to leak. I've been waiting for 3 weeks, about 18 days, for the spare parts to arrive. I bought it with the loose strap, and now everything's fine. and this is the air connection. And this green tube, this is the fuel line. This is the return air connection. And here is the same thing, under the cap, but I won't take it off. You can see the red one. There is also an air connection. Each rack has its own color, and the documentation is also indicated by its color. Here under this cover, there is a valve block, compressor, and a receiver. Two fuel tanks and a pump between them. And you know what? When you fill up the full tank, the center of gravity is low, because they are located at the very bottom, and you literally feel how the car has become more stable as you drive away, and it feels best on a highway. And also, there's a story about the rear stabilizer in a few words. When the previous owner had this car, the clip on the rear stabilizer wasn't fixed. It simply wasn't there. This one, you see? Attached with the two screws. So the stabilizer was fixed only on one side. There are special platforms, both on Phaeton and Flying Spur. They are slightly further, behind the side skirts. Just look further, find these platforms, put the car lifter or jack right here, or watch out for other people who are servicing your car not to put the car lifters here. If here, leather is formally only on the seats and optionally on the dashboard and doors, there, leather is absolutely everywhere. The amount of leather is way too much. Obviously, it affects the comfort and the impression. I don't like that here on the dashboard there is no engine oil temperature and the car system voltage, because they do have it in Phaeton. If you have issues with generator or engine overheating, you can see it on the dashboard. Bentley doesn't have it. Here is veneer as the inserts on the doors and the central console. You can see it yourself. And there is more. Take a look at the dashboard. Seems that it's all made of wood and leather. As for multimedia, of course visually it is different. I mean the frame around the display, the color scheme and the logo. Everything else is identical. Both audio system is 12-channel, literally the same. Pay attention here, there are cup holders. The placement is very convenient. You get it already, huh? If you are the owner of Continental GT or Flying Spur and you have no idea where your cup holder is, then look for such a thing somewhere in the trunk or glove box of your car, because I've had some time before I figured out what the thing is for. So you put this thing here. Let's say you have cup in your hand. You need to switch hands, open the armrest, open that thing, take your cup, bend around. And what if you have two cups? Excuse me? There's like a place for a second cup. This size? For what? An espresso? Oh yeah, Bentley owners don't drink espresso. What I also don't like about Flying Spur, a very small glove box. It seems to be the same here and there, but there is literally not much space. It is even visible that there is more space here. Don't even need to measure it, you can see it. Same system is installed, but obviously more space here. First of all, you can easily put here 2 large cups of coffee or tea, whatever you like more, and they won't interfere each other. They won't displace each other. If you put it there, your 2 cups will simply fall because they are too close and the liquid will naturally spill. Phaeton has a handbrake, unlike Flying Spur. And here's the pedal. The trunks are same here. I guess the numbers are also same. Batteries both in Phaeton and here are located on left and right. 2 batteries in both cars. There is a lot of space here. In Phaeton, by the way, there is not that much space. Well, because here the body is 13 centimeters longer. I guess this is the reason. Basically, here everything is the same. It looks same as in Phaeton. There is more space, but everything is exactly the same. All the control units are located under the shelf and installed here. Right here is the shelf. What's the first thing that jumps out at you when you leave the cover under the shelf? Ready? Rug. And some crap from AliExpress. The thing is a solid one, but this one is wooden and quite a strange thing. By the way, there is a mini spare, unlike the full-sized one in Phaeton, and it's not very convenient to close it. You have to fix everything. It seems wrong, especially the handle. They made it wisely in Phaeton. First of all, it's not just a carpet. It is a full-size cover. It looks solid. Even though it's made of plastic, and your Phaeton one has it in chrome, perhaps it was an option on Bentley, but I don't know. Even though this one is made out of plastic, it looks better, it has springs, it feels good to touch, and somehow it works properly. But there is just some kind of a crap. Take a look, this cover, like yours, you attach here, like a normal cover, while you can comfortably get a spare wheel or something else that you need from the trunk. But for sure, you know, it's not easy to get out the wheel like this. So the Bentley is way more comfortable to be driving around than Phaeton. Nevertheless, Phaeton, as mentioned, is some kind of a middle ground between quality, comfort, and utility. Roughly speaking, Phaeton is like your daily suit. Comfortable, practical, not that expensive, which is not too valuable to lose. And Flying Spur, this is that type of expensive suit that you only wear on holidays or evenings going out to the fancy restaurant with your precious woman. This is the car. For everything else, I have this car. And that is the reason why I have two cars. This one I use daily, but this one I only take when I want my own pleasure.
I think this is the most dreary piece of styling I've ever seen. It has no presence.
Now, I have to say, right, the thing is they've made it feel like a Bentley, but it looks as though it was designed by a Belgian.
Well, it was designed by a Belgian.
Oh, yeah.
And the funny thing is that for £45,000 less, you can have a VW Phaeton, which has got the same basic engine, same four-wheel drive system. That is a really cool car.
So you noticed that we focused on Flying Spur visuals more than on Phaeton. And here is the reason why. As it was said in the beginning, there is a separate film about Phaeton getting ready to be released. This will not be just another review. YouTube is full of it already. It will be more like a documentary, cause for several years, since the club was founded, we have accumulated a lot of statistics on the issues and nuances that the car owners have faced. For dozens of Phaeton Club meetings, we have seen more than 100 cars. The film will also have a detailed review of these moments, as well as the engine variations, configurations, generations, and much more. If you are interested in this topic, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and write us what you would like to see in the comments below. Cause at the end of the day, we make new content depending on your reaction in comments and likes. That's it for now. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next time. Translation and voiceover made by Friendly Neighborhood Mike.